Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Toy Story 4, the newest Pixar film in Pixar's amazing library of films. I'm going to start off by saying this. I love the Toy Story movies 1, 2, and 3, and just like everybody else, I thought Toy Story 3 was the best ending that you could give these characters ever. And so going into Toy Story 4, just like everybody else, I was kind of concerned because, we haven't really seen Pixar mess up on a lot of their sequels. I really liked Incredibles 2. I really liked Monsters University. I thought Finding Dory was great. So I do think they've proven themselves that they could do capable sequels. But I think what people get worried about is when they see Cars 2 and they think, well, is this going to be another Cars 2? There's a first time for everything. And let's face it, Pixar has had a few downers. I'm not going to say worst movies, even though I think Cars 2 is the worst Pixar movie. I think there are some enjoyable traits to take. I don't think it's like the worst movie of all time. I think there's some factors that I can see in that movie that make it enjoyable. Uh, so I think a lot of people were hoping, please don't let this be Cars 2 of the Toy Story franchise. And I'm happy to say that it is not. This is a really enjoyable movie from beginning to start. Man, there are some really, really funny moments, especially with the new characters that are added into this film. I really loved Ducky and Bunny, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. I thought they were hilarious as those two characters. There is at least one or two moments in particular that had me laughing so hard. I was even laughing after the scene was done. That's how funny it was because it had me thinking about it after after the fact. I think people can probably guess what scene that is. But yeah, I love those two characters. I thought Keanu Reeves' character in this movie was really funny. I had some really funny moments. I thought all the new characters were all really enjoyable and funny in their own ways. Obviously, all the old characters are back, and they all get their moments. Some a little bit more than others. I think there were some characters that were a little bit more sidelined. Like I'm trying to think, what did Mr. Potato Head do in this movie, or Rex? I know they had a line or two here and there, but I can't remember anything special those characters have. This movie definitely centers more on Woody than any other character. This is his story and his arc. And that's what really pulls the weight of this movie. And you go back and rewatch all the Toy Story films. Woody has a really great arc going on throughout all these movies, and definitely will be going down as a very iconic characters that people for many generations who have been growing up with this franchise will love. And I think Pixar knew that, and they had to give Tom Hanks something to really carry this movie through for reasons. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to say too much that will spoil the movie. And with that, yeah, Woody is a great character, and I love what they do with Bo Peep in this movie, who is very heavily connected to Woody, obviously. If you go back and watch those first two Toy Story movies, Bo Peep was essentially just a side character who was there to give Woody someone to talk to once in a while when he was feeling down. Buzz has kind of filled that void since Toy Story 2 in some ways, because Toy Story 3 continued on with that. And then Toy Story 4, we get a lot more Buzz and Woody talking, giving each other the talk, when they need it. And I thought with Bo in this movie, bringing her back, I didn't know what to expect from the character. I knew they were giving her a new look, but what does that mean? And as someone who didn't really think much about Bo Peep in the first two Toy Story movies, I'm going to say she was actually a really interesting character in this film. I actually liked what they did with her a lot. They gave her a really interesting backstory that I think made her a stronger character. And it was surprising to me because usually you don't see that when movies bring back a character. They're still either the same character or they don't change too much, right? It's just the next chapter in their lives. And what they do with Bo, I think, will make people look at her different. It's like she's a different character, even though she's still being voiced by the same actress, Annie Potts. Um, so, so yeah, I really like the story that they gave her in this movie. The animation, though, man, you got to talk about Pixar animation. And I did a Toy Story marathon this week. I'm gonna say when you go back and watch those first two Toy Story movies, then Toy Story 3, and now Toy Story 4, the way the animation has evolved with Pixar throughout the years, it's mind blowing to see this movie, the way it's animated. Because there are times the characters themselves and the background and all that looks amazing, astonishing. I love Pixar animation. You know, I don't think there's any other studio, maybe Disney, that can top them. But I guess Disney's kind of in the family, right? And Pixar can kind of like give them tips now. Uh, because I think Disney animation has kind of grown back into the public conscience now too, with movies like Frozen and Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia, etc. I think they've solidified their place as well. But it's nice to see that the franchise that started computer animation is still holding out strong. Because let's remember, you go back and watch the Shrek franchise, which was another very popular franchise from another competitive studio, DreamWorks. When they got to Shrek 4, I think people were done by that point. Shrek 4, can barely remember it, but I think the Toy Story franchise is that franchise that says, yeah, well, we're not Shrek. We're going to show you that we can have 4 consistent films, and you guys are going to love and possibly tear up during them. So, with that being said, go check this movie out. It is worth it. If you love Pixar, if you love animation, if you love movies, this is one to go and check out with a really nice story. I think even if you don't have kids, you can check out this. Pixar, they don't limit their audience. It doesn't matter which age you are. I think they try to make movies for everybody when they can. And this is, I think they know that the audience that were kids back in 1995 are now adults, probably with kids of their own. So they're like, bring your kids if you want, but if you don't have kids, don't worry about it. You'll still enjoy this movie either way. I saw a couple of adults in the theater with in this movie with no kids. Believe me, people will enjoy this movie no matter what. If you know these characters, if you love these characters, this is a movie that will please you in every way, especially if you enjoyed the last 3 films. So with that being said, I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10, yes. It is almost a perfect film. Not quite as good as Toy Story 3, I'll admit that, but I don't know how I would even rank it. I think all 3 films are really good. Maybe Toy Story 3 would be my favorite, then Toy Story 4, then Toy Story 2, and then Toy Story 1. That would be my ranking. So that's a big recommendation for me, of course. So with that being said, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and until next time, take care.